There is no delay in spirit, there is no scarcity in God. The moment you dared to desire more, the moment you lifted your eyes and imagined wealth, it was done. But here is the mystery most overlooked. What you call waiting is simply your awareness catching up to what already exists. You are not asking God to send you millions. You are being invited to receive what is already released. This moment is sacred. This moment is rich. And if you are too busy panicking over your current condition, you will miss the miracle breaking through the unseen realm. Creation is finished. The provision is complete. What you're truly waiting on is the shift in your assumption. So assume it now. Assume that millions are being released to you, not someday, but this very second. Begin to feel it. Breathe as one who holds the key to financial overflow. Not because of effort, but because of awareness. The moment you feel it real, it becomes inevitable. And that's the power of divine timing. It's not a date on the calendar. It's a decision in the mind. Quiet yourself. Listen within. The nudge is subtle, the whisper is soft, but it's there. An idea, a vision, a word. It will not come to the anxious mind, but to the still one. There is no need to strive when God is already moving. There is no need to beg when the storehouse has been opened. Prepare, not in fear but in faith. Make room, clear space, build structure, move as if the millions have landed. Because they have. You're not chasing the money is finding you. You are not forgotten, you are favored. And this moment, yes, this moment is the release. Don't miss it. Millions do not begin in your bank account, they begin in consciousness. Long before any material evidence shows up, the seed of wealth is planted in the unseen soil of your inner world. What most fail to realize is that true provision is not born in effort alone. It is born in awareness, in a deep, unshakable conviction that you are already provided for. The moment you shift your attention from the outer condition to the inner conviction, you enter the real realm of creation. Everything you experience in the visible world is simply the echo of an assumption held in the invisible. The car you drive, the home you live in, the digits in your account, all were first shaped in the mold of consciousness. And so if you desire financial overflow, if you long to see millions pour into your life, you must begin by constructing that reality within yourself. You must feel what it's like to be wealthy before your hand ever touches the money. Not pretend, not fake it, but dwell in the truth of it so deeply that you no longer seek it, because in your world, it already is. The universe responds not to words but to vibration. You do not attract what you say, you attract what you are. And what you are is defined by what you consistently accept as true. If your inner story is one of lack, worry, and striving, then life will continue to echo those themes back to you. But the moment you declare within yourself, I am abundantly supported, I am rich beyond reason, I am the receiver of infinite good, and believe it as your natural identity, you will see outer shifts begin to unfold. There is no need to chase what is already yours. You do not need to convince the universe to bless you. Provision was always part of the design. The real work is not in trying to make money happen. It is in removing every inner block that tells you it can't. Fear, doubt, guilt. These are the shadows that cloud the mirror. When you clear them, your reflection becomes pure, and what you see is the evidence of what you've already assumed to be true. The world does not give you what you want. It gives you who you are. And who you are is formed in the sacred silence of your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs. Begin there. Close your eyes and feel what it's like to have no fear of bills. Walk into your imagination and see yourself funding dreams, giving generously, living freely. That feeling, that picture, is not daydreaming, It is the blueprint. And when you hold that blueprint with consistency and conviction, the world must obey. Millions are not somewhere far away. They are right here, waiting in the invisible, longing to flow through the channel of your belief. And when you finally realize that the substance of all wealth is spiritual, you will stop chasing shadows and start creating substance. The inner always leads. The outer always follows. You are never waiting on money. That's the illusion most people live under. What you're truly waiting for is your awareness to align with what already exists in the unseen. Wealth has already been released in spirit. The moment you desired it, it was done. But until your imagination accepts that reality and lives in it as truth, the outer world cannot reflect it. Imagination is not a game of escape. It is the divine tool of creation. It is the pipeline through which the invisible becomes visible. To imagine is to participate in the creative act. It is not daydreaming or wishful thinking, it is the conscious forming of reality. When you sit in silence and picture yourself holding the million, when you feel the weight of abundance in your hands, when you walk in the mental state of I already have it, you are building the bridge of events that must carry you to it. The outer world bends to the inner image. It cannot resist the vision that is held with faith and consistency. You are not fabricating something false when you imagine yourself rich. You are aligning yourself with what has already been created. There is no shortage, there is no delay, there is only a lack of recognition. Once you recognize that the source of all wealth flows through the invisible channel of thought, feeling, and imagination, you'll stop reacting to what you see and begin shaping it deliberately. Everything that is built in the physical was first designed in the mind. Money, homes, businesses, inventions, all began in imagination. Nothing appears until it is first imagined. So why would your wealth be any different? Why would your millions be an exception? They are not. But they cannot arrive until you have made space for them within your being. The space is created not by physical work alone, but by inner alignment. Imagination does the heavy lifting. To live in the state of wealth is to speak differently, think differently, carry yourself differently, not arrogantly, but with divine certainty. You begin to affirm abundance, not out of hope, but out of identity. You say, it is mine, because it is. You walk with confidence because the vision lives in you, not outside of you. You act not out of desperation, but out of conviction. This is not make-believe. This is how all things come into being. First within, then without. First in feeling, then in form. Your imagination is the mold. It is the place where you begin to experience what your senses have not yet confirmed. And that's the secret. The senses follow imagination. They do not lead. Stop looking for proof and start building the picture. Your mind is the canvas, your emotions are the brush. Paint your world as you desire it to be, and persist in that image until it hardens into fact. The money is not coming. It is here. It flows through the pipeline of imagination. And once you step into that stream, nothing can stop its arrival. Faith is not a fragile wish or a soft whisper of hope. It is the bold, silent power that accepts what the senses cannot yet confirm. True faith does not wait for evidence before it believes. It believes, and then evidence must follow. Faith is not begging for a promise to be fulfilled. It is standing firm in the knowing that the promise is already complete. That's what makes faith magnetic. It pulls the unseen into the seen, the invisible into form, the promise into manifestation. When you walk by faith, you no longer need signs to reassure you. You stop checking the bank account every hour to see if the money has arrived. You stop praying the same prayer again and again, as if you were unheard. Instead, you move in the still confidence that what you have desired has already been released in spirit, and now by law it must reach you. Faith draws, it does not chase, and that distinction changes everything. Chasing comes from lack. It says, I don't have it yet, and I need to do more to get it. Drawing comes from fullness. It says, it's mine. I already received it in consciousness, and now the world is rearranging itself to bring it forth. You become magnetic to abundance when you dwell in the vibration of already having. There is no anxiety in faith. There is no grasping. Faith is rest. Faith is peace. Faith is the inner assurance that no matter what your senses may claim, your desire is already done. You no longer ask, when will it come? Because faith does not ask that question. Faith says, it is already here. To live in faith is to live beyond appearances. You see beyond the numbers, beyond the delay, beyond the contradiction. You no longer let the outside world tell you who you are or what is possible for you. You tell the world. You tell it through your posture, your tone, your inner speech, your calmness. That is the signal. That is the frequency that draws all things to you. Millions are not a future event. They are a current reality in the unseen. The only thing that determines how quickly you receive is how fully you accept. If you waver, if you doubt, if you keep going back and forth between belief and fear, you break the magnetism. But if you stay firm in your knowing, if you live from the end, if you refuse to be moved by appearances, the manifestation must arrive. Faith is the field. It surrounds you, speaks through you, moves with you. When you are in it, you become a magnet to every good thing. Not because you're lucky, but because you're aligned. You've chosen to believe without seeing, and that is the master key to receiving. So stand in faith. Declare the millions are released. Live as though the vault has already opened, because it has. You just need to receive what you've already claimed. And faith is the bridge between your inner claim and your outer reality. God does not yell. He does not force his way into your life with thunder or chaos. He whispers softly, gently in the stillness of your soul. And because the whisper is quiet, you must quiet yourself to hear it. In a world addicted to noise, movement, and striving, the divine invitation is stillness. It is not in the doing, but in the being. Not in the chasing, but in the resting. That is where the door swings open. The breakthrough you're seeking is not hidden from you, it's hidden in you. But to access it, you must withdraw your attention from the loud outer world and return to the quiet center of your being. That is where clarity lives. That is where divine timing is felt. That is where the answers you've been begging for finally come, because your inner world is no longer filled with interference. So many miss the moment because they are too busy striving, too loud to hear the instruction, too anxious to feel the flow. They try to force doors open with effort, with panic, with hustle. But spiritual doors do not respond to force. They respond to presence. They open to the one who knows how to be still and trust. The stillness is not laziness, it is powerful alignment. When you quiet your mind, you allow the divine blueprint to rise. You begin to feel the inspired idea that doesn't come from fear, but from knowing. You hear the nudge, the prompting, the whisper that says, go here, or call now, or wait, it's coming. These are not random thoughts. They are spiritual instructions from a higher realm, and they are precise. In stillness, you don't manufacture the vision, you remember it. You rest in the end result, already complete in the invisible. You stop begging for confirmation because peace has already confirmed it. You stop running after doors because you realize they swing open to the one who walks with quiet authority. The world will tell you to do more, but spirit will often ask you to be still. It's not inactivity, it's divine receptivity. And in that space, your frequency rises. You stop aligning with fear, doubt, and effort, and you begin to align with ease, clarity, and certainty. This is the posture of creation. When you are still, you are not doing nothing, you are listening, you are receiving, you are preparing, you are shifting from noise to knowing, from striving to surrender. And in that shift, you become magnetic. You begin to attract rather than chase. You feel the current of favor moving in your direction, not because you fought for it, but because you finally allowed it. So be still, not just with your body, but with your mind, with your emotions, with your thoughts. Step into the quiet, because in the quiet, the truth is loud. The path becomes clear, the idea comes, the door opens. And it always opens for the one who is still enough to hear the whisper say, now. Preparation is not about waiting, it is a declaration of belief. When you prepare for what you've already received in spirit, you are sending a clear signal to the universe. I know it's done. You are no longer hoping, you are no longer pleading. You are positioning yourself in alignment with the fulfillment of what already exists. You are not reacting to your current conditions. You are responding to the invisible reality that has already been created. But there's a difference between preparing in fear and preparing in faith. Fearful preparation comes from the belief that if you don't act fast enough or get everything perfect, you might miss your chance. It's driven by panic, urgency, and pressure. But faithful preparation is calm, it's expectant, it moves with peace and purpose. It knows that the manifestation is not dependent on strain, but on alignment. So how do you prepare in faith? You begin by assuming the role of the one who has already received. If the millions were already released, how would you behave today? Would you wait to open the bank account? Would you wait to organize your finances, structure your business, or plan your giving? Or would you take steps as if you already held the blessing in your hand? When you clean your space, when you organize your environment, when you make room in your life for the blessing to land, you are telling creation, I'm ready. You don't wait until the money arrives to get in position. You get in position because you know it's arriving. It's the mindset of someone who trusts the process completely. It's the walk of someone who understands that spiritual law guarantees the harvest where the soil is ready. Mapping the vision is another act of faith, writing it down, seeing it clearly, planning it out, not with doubt but with boldness. You don't need to see all the steps. You just need to prepare the ground. Your inner world is the foundation. And when that foundation is firm, when the vision is clear, the identity is aligned, and the expectation is set, then the outer world must respond. It has no choice. You are not preparing to convince the universe to give you more. You are preparing because you already know it has. The blessing is not in the future, it is present. It is unfolding now. Your preparation does not cause the release, it confirms it. So go ahead, act as if, speak as if, live as if, not in pretense but in powerful recognition of what is already yours. Move with certainty, organize your life for abundance. Create the schedule, build the structure, make the space, because what you're preparing for has already been set in motion. The spiritual realm does not withhold. It waits for your readiness. And readiness is not just about emotion, it's about structure, action, and alignment. When you prepare in faith, manifestation becomes inevitable. The invisible becomes visible. What was spiritual becomes physical. It is law. And the moment your world is ready, what's yours will come rushing in. Billions are not on their way, they are already here. But until your mind is renewed to this truth, you will live as though you're still waiting. The delay is never in God, the delay is in recognition. The moment you truly desired, from your spirit, not from fear or desperation, but from inner clarity, the answer was already complete. Creation finished its work the moment you assumed the feeling of your wish fulfilled. It was done in spirit. But to receive it, you must Match that reality in consciousness. You are not here to chase money, you are here to tune into the truth that abundance surrounds you at all times. What you call wealth is simply the visible manifestation of an invisible principle, and that principle is already in operation. God does not need time to supply, it is man who needs faith to perceive. Once you understand this, you stop striving, you stop asking when, and you begin to receive with certainty. God has never been your resource, He is your source. And the source is infinite. The stream does not run dry, the flow does not pause. But your access to that flow depends entirely on the state you dwell in. If you live in lack, speak in lack, and expect lack, you cut yourself off from the supply that has always been present. But the moment you raise your awareness and shift your assumption, the floodgates open, not because they just now opened, but because your eyes were finally opened to them. And there is no shortage in God. There is no scarcity in the spiritual realm. What seems rare in the material world is abundant in the invisible, and the way to draw it forth is not through fear, hustle, or force, but through inner alignment, clarity, and faith. You must learn to lift your thoughts higher than your current conditions. You must refuse to bow to what is seen and instead honor what is true. God does not operate on delay. He operates on belief. If you believe you must wait, then wait you will. If you believe you are always about to receive, then your manifestation will always stay just out of reach. But if you know it is done, if you walk, talk, and act from the reality that the millions are already present, you give them permission to appear in visible form. Open your hands. That means let go of tightness, control, and fear. Open your mind. That means stretch beyond logic, beyond old patterns, and begin to imagine the unimaginable. And open your heart. That means receive the blessing without guilt, hesitation, or shame. This is your inheritance, not earned but accepted. You are not pulling anything from the sky. You are simply awakening to what was already yours. There is no delay, only alignment. And the moment you align, you realize the millions you seek are not far off in the distance. They are here, now, waiting to be claimed. You are not waiting for wealth, it's waiting for you. The millions you desire are not a distant dream. They already exist in the invisible, and they respond only to one thing, your awareness. When you understand that all provision begins within, that imagination is the blueprint, and that faith is the magnetic field that draws all things, you stop striving and start receiving. You prepare not from fear but from faith. You listen in stillness, move in confidence, and declare the abundance as already yours. God does not delay. The moment you dare to believe, it was done. So now, lift your thoughts, open your hands, walk in the vision, and live from the knowing the release has already happened. Don't miss the moment. Sincerely, thank you for listening. May you walk boldly in the unseen, speak only from victory, and never forget, what you seek is already yours. You have been taught to think, to reason, to analyze every detail of your life. You have been conditioned to believe that control and effort bring results. But what if I told you the opposite is true? That the more you think, the more you stand in the way of the infinite intelligence that already knows the path. The universe does not require your struggle. It does not need your constant calculations, your worry, or your doubt. It only requires your alignment. The moment you cease your mental interference and surrender to the knowing that all is already done, the universe begins to move in ways you could never have orchestrated on your own. Most people live in a state of resistance, trying to force solutions, chasing outcomes, and exhausting their minds with unnecessary thought. But thought, when misplaced, becomes the very barrier to your manifestation. The mind, when overburdened, cannot perceive the subtle nudges of the universe. So, how do you let the universe think for you? You begin by assuming that it already has. You assume that every desire, every question, every need is already known. You do not beg. You do not chase. You assume. And you trust. When a problem arises, do not ask, "How will I fix this?" Instead, dwell in the knowing that it is already resolved. When a desire stirs within you, do not wonder, "How can I make this happen?" Simply embody the state of already having it. The universe will fill in the details. There is no need to struggle. There is no need to figure it all out. The greater mind, the unseen force that governs all things, is already at work. Step back, let go, and let it think for you. You have been led to believe that your mind is the master of your reality, that through sheer effort, endless analysis, and ceaseless thought, you can shape your world as you desire. But this belief is the very thing that keeps you bound in limitation. The mind was never meant to be your master. It was designed to be a servant, a tool that responds to the deeper intelligence flowing through you. Yet, instead of using it as an instrument of creation, most people allow it to become a source of exhaustion, filling their days with doubt, fear, and worry. Look at your life. How many times have you wrestled with decisions, going back and forth in your mind, only to feel more confused? How many nights have you spent replaying past mistakes or anxiously predicting future failures? This is the mind running unchecked, taking control when it was never meant to lead. Thought, when misused, becomes a prison. It traps you in cycles of overthinking, leaving you stuck, rather than allowing the universe to work on your behalf. But the truth is simple. The answers you seek do not come from force, nor do they come from struggle. They come from stillness. They come from allowing the deeper intelligence within you, the intelligence of the universe, to flow without resistance. The moment you stop exhausting yourself with unnecessary thought is the moment you open the door to real clarity. You do not need to figure everything out. You do not need to carry the weight of every decision on your shoulders. There is a force far greater than your conscious reasoning that already knows the path. But it will not speak over your mental noise. It will not fight for your attention. You must create the space for it to guide you. Consider the moments in your life when you have experienced effortless knowing. Perhaps you have had a sudden realization, a flash of inspiration, or an inner nudge that led you exactly where you needed to be. That was not the product of overthinking. That was the universe moving through you, showing you the way when you least expected it. Imagine living from that state always. Imagine a life where decisions are made effortlessly, where guidance comes naturally, where you no longer strain to control every detail. That life is available to you the moment you surrender the need to overthink. The moment you recognize that the mind is not the source of wisdom, but merely a tool to carry out the wisdom that already exists. What then should you do when your mind races, when doubt creeps in, when you feel the urge to control every outcome? Pause. Breathe. Shift your awareness away from thought and into presence. Ask yourself, what would I know if I were already in alignment with the universe? Then let go. The answer may not come instantly, but it will come. It will arise naturally, effortlessly, without force. You do not need to struggle. The universe is already working in your favor. The same intelligence that keeps the stars in the sky and the earth in perfect motion is the same intelligence that moves through you. When you trust in that, when you cease the exhausting effort of trying to think your way to every solution, you will see how effortlessly life unfolds. Stop trying to control what was never yours to control. Your role is not to force, but to receive. Your job is not to struggle, but to allow. The universe is always speaking. Be still long enough to hear it. Let it think for you. Everything in your life, every circumstance, every relationship, every success or failure is a reflection of what you assume to be true. Whether you recognize it or not, your assumptions are shaping your world at every moment. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you assume. The beliefs you hold, consciously or unconsciously, impress themselves upon the unseen intelligence that governs all things, and in time they crystallize into physical form. Most people live under the illusion that their experiences dictate their beliefs, that they can only assume something is true once they see proof of it. But this is an error. The world is not forcing its reality upon you. You are the one shaping it through your assumptions. Your inner world precedes the outer. What you persistently assume, whether good or bad, must eventually harden into fact. This is an unbreakable law. Look at your life. What patterns continue to repeat? What struggles seem inescapable? If you look closely, you will see that these experiences are not random. They are the outpicturing of deeply held assumptions. Perhaps you assume that success is difficult, and so every opportunity feels like a battle. Perhaps you assume that people cannot be trusted, and so betrayal finds you time and again. Or perhaps you assume that life flows with ease, and so doors open effortlessly before you. Change does not begin outside of you, it begins in the realm of assumption. If you want to see something different in your life, you must first assume differently. The moment you make an assumption and persist in it, the universe begins to shift to reflect that new reality. But you must hold to it, unwavering. You cannot entertain a new assumption one day and fall back into old doubts the next. The universe is listening to the consistency of your inner state. Think of a time when you knew something would happen before it did. Perhaps you had an unshakable confidence about an outcome, and it unfolded exactly as you expected. That was not coincidence. It was the power of assumption at work. You did not need to hope, beg, or struggle. You simply knew, and because you knew, reality conformed. Now imagine using that same power deliberately. Imagine assuming wealth instead of lack, love instead of loneliness, success instead of failure. If you can persist in that assumption without letting doubt shake you, the world will shape itself accordingly. The external must follow the internal. It has no choice. But how do you shift an assumption when the evidence around you suggests otherwise? The key is to ignore appearances. The outer world is nothing more than a reflection of past assumptions, and just as a mirror cannot change until you change your expression, your reality cannot shift until you assume a new state. If you continue to react to what is, you will only create more of the same. But if you assume a new reality as true, even before the world reflects it, you will set a new cause in motion. You must dare to believe in the unseen. You must dare to assume that what you desire is already yours. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Live as if it were already true in your mind, and watch as life rearranges itself to bring it into form. The universe does not operate by chance. It operates by law. What you assume, you become. What you assume, you experience. Choose your assumptions wisely, for they are the seeds of your reality. Assume greatness, assume abundance, assume love, and let the universe reflect it back to you. You have been taught that struggle is necessary, that effort and hardship are the price you must pay for success, love, and fulfillment. But this belief is the very thing keeping you from what you seek. The more you force an outcome, the further it drifts away. The universe does not respond to struggle, it responds to alignment. It responds to alignment. It responds to yourself. It responds to alignment with what you seek. The more you force an outcome, the more you respond to success, love, it responds to alignment. When you release control, when you stop chasing, when you let go of the need to force things into existence, you make room for the unseen forces to arrange everything in perfect order. Struggle implies resistance. It is the belief that you must fight against life to get what you desire. But have you ever noticed that the things you have to fight the hardest for often slip through your fingers? The person who chases love the most often finds themselves alone. The one who desperately seeks wealth seems to always lack. The harder you push, the more life pushes back. This is because struggle is rooted in fear. The fear that if you do not take control, things will not go your way. But the universe does not need your struggle. It needs your surrender. Letting go does not mean doing nothing. It means trusting. It means knowing that what you desire is already in motion, that the forces beyond your understanding are weaving the perfect circumstances together. When you act from a place of alignment rather than desperation, you move in flow with life rather than against it. Look at nature. The river does not struggle to reach the ocean. It flows effortlessly. The sun does not force itself to shine. It simply does. There is an ease, an intelligence, a rhythm that governs all things. When you detach from struggle, you align yourself with that rhythm. You stop interfering with the process and allow the universe to work in ways far greater than your mind could ever conceive. Think about the moments when things came to you with little effort. The unexpected job offer, the chance encounter that led to love, the perfect opportunity that seemed to fall into your lap. These moments did not arise from struggle. They arose from alignment. They happened when you were in a state of ease, not desperation. This is the natural way of things, and it is available to you always if you will only let go. But letting go requires faith. It requires you to release your grip on how things should unfold and trust that they are unfolding exactly as they should. It requires you to stop obsessing over when, where, and how, and simply embody the knowing that all is well. If you desire something, set the intention. Assume it is already yours, and then step back. Live in the state of already having it, rather than in the state of longing. When you do this, the universe begins to arrange the pieces. The right people, opportunities, and circumstances will come to you, not because you forced them, but because you aligned with them. You were never meant to struggle through life. The need to struggle is an illusion, a belief that keeps you bound to lack and limitation. The truth is that life responds to your state of being. When you are at peace, life reflects peace. When you trust, life provides. When you let go, you receive. So release the need to control. Stop chasing, stop forcing. Stop believing that struggle is required. Instead, align yourself with the feeling of already having, already being, already knowing. Let the universe orchestrate the how, and you will see that what once seemed distant and difficult will come to you effortlessly. In the constant noise of life, most people search endlessly for answers, seeking them outside of themselves, hoping that somewhere in the chaos they will find clarity. But the truth is, the answers you seek are not out there, they are within you, waiting in the silence, in the stillness. The universe speaks in the quiet spaces between your thoughts, but you must learn to listen. Most people do not realize that their own minds are working against them. Their thoughts run in endless circles, filled with doubts, fears, and worries. The more they think, the more tangled they become, mistaking mental noise for progress. But thinking louder does not bring clarity. It only creates more confusion. True wisdom is found not in frantic searching, but in quiet surrender, Stillness is not emptiness. It is awareness. It is the space where you become receptive, where inspiration flows without effort, When you silence the noise of the mind, you open yourself to the intelligence that moves all things. This intelligence has always been present, guiding, nudging, whispering, but it cannot be heard above the chatter of a restless mind. Consider the ocean. When its surface is disturbed, it becomes chaotic, unable to reflect the sky above. But when it is still, it becomes a mirror perfectly capturing the heavens. Your mind is the same. When it is filled with constant thought, it cannot receive. But in stillness, the answers that once seemed elusive rise effortlessly into awareness. There is a reason why the greatest revelations often come in moments of stillness, in the quiet of the early morning, in a pause between activities, in the stillness of nature. When you stop striving, when you stop forcing, you become a vessel for something greater than yourself. It is not through effort that clarity comes, but through surrender. The modern world does not teach stillness, it teaches reaction. It urges you to fill every moment with activity, to solve every problem through thought and effort. But this is an illusion. The most powerful actions arise not from mindless motion, but from deep inner knowing. When you cultivate stillness, your actions become precise, guided by something beyond mere intellect. Think of those moments when life seemed to unfold perfectly, as if guided by an unseen hand. Those were not moments of struggle, but moments of flow, when you were so present, so alive that the right answers appeared effortlessly. This is the power of stillness. It does not come from outside of you. It is always within you, waiting to be accessed. But how do you cultivate this stillness? You do not force it. You do not demand silence from the mind. Instead, you simply observe. Let the thoughts come and go without attachment. Do not resist them, but do not engage them either. Create space between them, and in that space, you will feel the presence of something greater than thought itself. This is where intuition is born. This is where true wisdom arises, not from the mind, but from the stillness beneath it. The more you practice being in this space, the more effortless life becomes. The right decisions will arise naturally. The right opportunities will appear without struggle. The path forward will reveal itself, not through force, but through alignment. You do not have to fight your way through life. You do not have to chase or struggle or exhaust yourself with endless thinking. All that you seek is already seeking you. The universe is speaking, guiding, unfolding. But it can only be heard in the quiet. Make stillness your home. Let the noise settle, and in that sacred space of silence, the answers you have been seeking will reveal themselves effortlessly. Most people live in the state of wanting, constantly longing for something that feels just out of reach. They look at their current reality and allow it to dictate what they believe is possible. But this is not how creation works. The universe does not respond to longing, it responds to being. When you align your mind with the state of already having what you desire, the universe bridges the gap effortlessly. The key is to live in the end. Do not wait for external proof before you believe. Believe first and the proof will follow. You must think from the place of already being the person who has what you seek, already living the life you desire. When you do this, the unseen forces begin to move, rearranging the circumstances of your life to reflect your inner state. Most people do the opposite. They look at what is, they dwell on the lack, and they reinforce the very conditions they wish to change. They say, I want more money, but they continue to identify as someone who struggles financially. They say, I want love, but they continue to feel lonely and unworthy. In doing so, they keep themselves stuck in a cycle of longing rather than receiving. You must abandon this way of thinking. Instead of seeing your desire as something far off in the future, assume it is already done. If you were already the person who has the success, the love, the health, the abundance, how would you think? How would you feel? How would you move through the world? Step into that version of yourself now, not later. When you do this, something remarkable happens. Your actions, your thoughts, your emotions all begin to align with this new reality. You no longer move from a place of need, but from a place of certainty. And in this certainty, the universe responds. Doors that once seemed closed begin to open. People, opportunities, and circumstances appear as if by divine orchestration. But many struggle with this concept because they are trapped by what they see. They believe they must first have proof before they can believe. Yet all great manifestations begin in the unseen. The tree was once an invisible seed. The great masterpiece was once an idea. The life you wish to live already exists in potential. You must claim it now in consciousness before it materializes. Doubt is the enemy of this process. If you waver between belief and fear, between certainty and hesitation, you delay the unfolding of your desire. The universe is precise. It reflects back exactly what you hold in your mind consistently. If you are firm in your assumption, unwavering in your knowing, then reality has no choice but to conform. This is not about wishful thinking, it is about embodying a new state of being. You must let go of the identity of the person who is still waiting. Waiting only creates more waiting. You are not becoming, you already are. The shift happens the moment you decide to claim it fully, without doubt, without hesitation. You may wonder how long it will take for your desire to manifest, but time is irrelevant. The only thing that matters is the depth of your belief. If you persist, if you refuse to entertain any thought that contradicts your vision, then it must come to pass. The universe is not bound by time, it is bound by assumption. The stronger your assumption, the faster the bridge of incidents will unfold. So stop looking for signs. Stop waiting for proof. Live in the end now. Walk, speak, and think as though your desire is already yours. Feel the relief, the joy, the gratitude of already having it. Let that feeling guide your every moment, and soon you will watch as the world shifts to match your inner state. The universe is not your opponent, it is your mirror. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and reality will bend to reflect it. The law of the universe is a constant, unyielding force that is always at work, whether you are conscious of it or not. It is not selective, nor does it discriminate. This law responds to your inner world, to the thoughts and beliefs you hold within your mind. Every thought, every feeling, every assumption you make creates a vibration that sends ripples out into the world, and the universe responds in kind. You may not always be aware of this process, but it is happening every moment of your life. The universe does not wait for you to be in a good mood or in a state of clarity to begin responding. Whether you are aware or not, it is listening. Your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions are constantly being broadcast, and the world around you shapes itself according to these inner vibrations. This means that you are the creator of your own reality. Though many walk through life unaware of the power they possess, if you are experiencing a reality that does not align with your desires, it is because your thoughts and beliefs are not aligned with what you wish to manifest. The law is always working. It is never off, never resting. When you believe that things will always be hard, that money is scarce, that love is distant, the universe will respond by giving you more of the same. The world around you will continue to reflect those beliefs, as it is simply mirroring the energy you put out. But when you change your thoughts, when you begin to align your inner world with the life you wish to create, then your outer world will shift to reflect that alignment. The key is in awareness. Most people go about their days reacting to life, allowing external circumstances to dictate how they feel and think. They give power to what they see, what they hear, and what they experience. But the true power lies not in reacting to life, but in shaping it through your inner state. When you master your thoughts, you master your world. This is not a new concept. Throughout history, great minds have taught us that the inner world dictates the outer. As within, so without is a timeless truth. Yet many remain caught in the cycle of external focus, waiting for things to change before they allow themselves to feel differently. They believe that once the conditions improve, then they can be happy, confident, or abundant. But this is the reverse of how the law works. It is not the outer world that must change first. It is your inner world that must change. Your thoughts are the seeds of your reality. When you focus on thoughts of lack, struggle, or limitation, you are planting seeds that will grow into those very experiences. On the other hand, when you focus on abundance, love, and success, you plant seeds that will bloom into those experiences. The universe does not question these seeds. It simply grows them. To align your thoughts with the life you desire, you must first become aware of what you are thinking and believing. Do you believe you are deserving of success, love, and joy? Or do you harbor subconscious doubts and fears that are shaping your reality? It is important to recognize that the law does not care whether you are consciously aware of your thoughts. It only responds to what you are consistently focused on. Changing your thoughts is not an overnight process. It requires consistent effort and practice. But as you begin to consciously align your thoughts with your desires, you will notice a shift in your life. Opportunities will arise where there were once obstacles. Relationships will improve, and new positive connections will form. You will begin to see evidence of the law working in your favor. The law is always working, whether you are aware of it or not. The world you see around you is a reflection of your inner state. To change your reality, you must begin by changing your thoughts. Align your thoughts with the life you desire, and the universe will follow. In conclusion, it is clear that the universe is always responding to the vibrations we emit from within. Our thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions shape our reality in ways that are often beyond our awareness. By understanding that the law is always working, we can shift our focus from reacting to life to actively creating it. When we align our inner world with our desires, when we live in the end, detached from struggle, embrace stillness, and trust the law, our outer world will follow suit. The universe does not work in isolation. It is a perfect mirror reflecting our internal state. With awareness and intention, we can begin to see our lives transform in alignment with our deepest desires. Thank you for taking the time to absorb and reflect upon this powerful understanding. The universe is always at work on your behalf. Trust it, align with it, and watch as it brings forth the life you truly deserve. Do not wait. Begin with belief. The journey to becoming a millionaire in 10 days does not start with effort. It starts with identity. You must become the one who already has the wealth before you ever see it. You must walk, breathe, and think like the version of you who already lives in luxury, ease, and freedom. You are not trying to get rich. You are returning to your true state, a state you have forgotten under the weight of fear, logic, and delay. The moment you assume this identity fully, faithfully, everything must respond. The universe bends to inner conviction. Your only task is to feel it real. The outer world is but a mirror. It cannot show you riches until you show yourself riches within. Picture the bank balance. Feel the car seats beneath you. Taste the meal at your favorite 5-star hotel. Sit in the knowing that it's not a fantasy. It's done. Each day, return to this vision. Speak only from this place. When you wake, affirm, I am wealthy. I am a millionaire now. As you go about your day, notice how the world reflects that state back to you in small ways. An opportunity, a conversation, a random amount of money. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Resist the temptation to check the outside. Stop searching for proof. You are the proof. The only delay is doubt, and the only speed is faith. When you remain in the state long enough, undistracted, unshaken, it must solidify into form. 10 days is not about time. 10 days is about consistency of consciousness. Remain in the vision. Don't fall back into old patterns of lack or fear. Each time the old self appears, correct it gently. Say, that is no longer who I am. I am a millionaire now. And finally, give thanks. Not for what will happen, but for what already has. Gratitude seals the reality. It tells your subconscious the mission is complete. You do not become a millionaire in 10 days. You remember that you already were, and in doing so, the world aligns with your truth. Wealth is not something you chase, it is something you become. And to become it, you must first accept it inwardly as your truth. This means dropping the illusion that riches are somewhere far away, in the hands of others, or dependent on timing, luck, or effort. You must step into the reality that you are already the millionaire, not in theory, not in fantasy, in consciousness. Now, the one who begs, who pleads, who waits for signs, is telling the universe that he does not yet possess. And as long as you declare, I don't have, life must echo back, you don't. But the one who walks as though the money is already his, who talks from abundance, who lives in the conviction of wealth, shifts the entire field of reality to match that belief. To assume the millionaire state is not about pretending, it's not about faking it, it is about embodying the internal condition of someone who no longer wants to be rich, because they are. This subtle but powerful shift breaks the cycle of waiting and initiates the cycle of becoming. From the moment you say, I am a millionaire, and feel the truth of those words without resistance, the creation begins. Imagine waking up in a world where your bank account is filled, your debts are cleared, your options are limitless. How would you move? How would you dress, speak, think, and breathe? That is the version of you that must be brought into focus, not someday, but today. The secret is simple. Assume it now. Let your inner talk match the life you say you want. Let your imagination rehearse your wealthy life so often that it feels more real than your current circumstances. Circumstances may not instantly reflect this state, but they are secondary. They follow consciousness. Do not wait for permission from the outside world. That's not how reality works. You are not reacting to the world, you are instructing it. You are not a beggar at the gate, you are the architect of reality. Your mind is the builder, and your assumption is the blueprint. This is why wealth comes not to the needy, but to the knowing. You cannot vibrate with lack and manifest abundance. You must become wealth inwardly, comfortable in it, relaxed in it, expecting it. Not through force, but through identity. Feel the joy of already being rich. Feel the relief, the safety, the expansion, not because it might happen, but because it already has. Remain in that state. Return to it when doubt creeps in. Repeat it until it becomes your emotional home. Let others speak of hardship and struggle. You remain centered in the awareness, I am a millionaire. And from this awareness, the external must conform. You are not asking the world to give you wealth. You are giving the world your decision. And when you assume the millionaire state instantly, with no doubt, no delay, the world has no choice but to catch up with what you already are. Your words are not mere sounds. They are commands, seeds, and vibrations that echo into the very fabric of your reality. Every sentence you speak, every thought you verbalize, is a decree to the unseen forces that shape your life. Most people speak from habit, from fear, from observation, but not from power. And that is where they remain, trapped in cycles of what is, rather than creating what could be. If you want to become a millionaire, you must begin by mastering your words. This means eliminating all speech of lack, scarcity, and limitation. Words like, I can't afford, I'm broke, or money is hard to come by are not innocent. They are anchors. They bind you to the very conditions you wish to escape. Each time you speak of your situation as hopeless or difficult, you are agreeing to keep it alive. Life listens. It responds. It delivers exactly what you pronounce. Instead, begin to speak only what you want to see. Declare abundance even if your pockets are empty. Speak of wealth even if your bank account says otherwise. Say, I always attract money. Opportunities are flowing to me. Everything is working out for my highest wealth. These are not lies, they are instructions. They are declarations that rewrite your inner script and instruct the outer world to shift. Understand this deeply. The words you speak repeatedly become your beliefs, and your beliefs shape your state of being. Your state of being is what manifests. So if your words are always pointing toward lack, it is no wonder your reality keeps confirming it. But if your words begin to speak from abundance, success, and fulfillment, even before evidence shows up, then you are no longer reacting to life, but commanding it. This practice requires discipline. It means being vigilant with your speech. You cannot afford to casually complain about money and then expect wealth to flow in. The two are incompatible. Watch your conversations, even your jokes. Do not speak poverty into existence for the sake of humor or habit. Speak only that which uplifts, expands, and aligns with the future you claim. When someone asks about your situation, do not unload your fears. Instead, say, everything is unfolding in my favor. You don't have to explain the process to anyone. The power is not in convincing others, it's in convincing yourself. Speak wealth until it becomes your second nature. Speak success until your body believes it. Speak abundance until it feels like the only truth. Remember, you are not describing life, you are designing it. Every word is either a brick in your palace or a chain in your prison. You choose. Use your voice to affirm what is coming, not what is present. Speak it as if it already exists. And soon the world will have no choice but to mirror the words you've declared as law. Let your voice be a tool of creation. Speak only what you want to see. Let every word be a prophecy fulfilled. Living from the end means abandoning the mindset of striving and stepping into the energy of already having. This is the difference between endless pursuit and powerful possession. Most people live their lives trying to get somewhere, trying to become successful, trying to become rich, trying to manifest their dreams. But trying is not the path to becoming. Trying keeps the desire distant, always just out of reach. It says, I am not yet, and life responds, you are not yet. To live from the end is to collapse the distance between you and your desire. It means thinking, speaking, and acting as if the goal is already achieved. If you desire to be a millionaire, don't wait for the money to show up before you feel the confidence, peace, and joy of that state. Feel it now, embody it now, move as if it's already true, and you'll magnetize the reality toward you. You cannot fake this state. You must immerse yourself in it inwardly until it becomes natural. It begins in the imagination. See yourself in the life you desire. Experience the emotions of having already received it. Walk through the rooms of your dream home in your mind. Hear the sound of success in your ears. Feel the freedom of financial abundance in your heart. This isn't fantasy, it's creation. When you live from the end, every action you take is infused with purpose and alignment. You no longer operate from desperation or fear. You don't chase opportunities, you attract them. You don't hustle for recognition, you radiate the energy of someone who knows their worth. Your presence becomes magnetic because it carries the certainty of fulfillment. Living to the end means you're constantly waiting, evaluating, hoping, and doubting. It places your power in the future. But the future is only created by what you are now. When you shift into the version of yourself who already has the thing, life must conform. It's not about faking until you make it. It's about being until it shows. This approach requires trust. It requires you to let go of needing evidence and instead prioritize your inner state. Many will look at their current circumstances and think, how can I feel rich when I'm broke? But that question misses the entire point. Your external world is a reflection of old consciousness. If you want to create a new result, you must first assume the new identity. That's why living from the end is not passive, it is active, deliberate, and empowered. It means choosing thoughts, emotions, and behaviors that match the life you say you want. If you were already wealthy, would you worry about bills? Would you question your worth? Would you hesitate to invest in yourself? The answers to those questions reveal how far or close you are from the state. Close the gap. Become the version of you who already has it. Speak from that place. Decide from that place. Walk with the calm, knowing that your desire is not on its way. It is already yours. Time is only needed for the illusion to catch up. You are not waiting to become rich. You are remembering that you already are. The physical world is a mirror, not a master. It is not here to dictate your reality, it is here to reflect it. Most people fall into the trap of believing what they see. They look at their bank account, their job title, their current situation and assume that is the truth. But it is not. It is simply a snapshot of past thoughts, past feelings, and past beliefs. If you continue to treat the physical world as permanent, you will remain stuck in a loop, always reacting instead of creating. To manifest wealth, or anything at all, you must learn to ignore the facts that contradict your desire, not deny them, but refuse to bow to them. You must train your focus to remain loyal to the unseen truth you've declared within. When you say, I am rich, and yet the world shows you lack, that is not the time to doubt. That is the time to persist. Circumstances are always old news. They are echoes, not forecasts. Whatever is showing up right now is the residue of previous thoughts you entertained and accepted as real, but you are not bound to repeat them. You are the origin point of every new reality. When you change your thoughts, when you alter your assumptions, the outer world must eventually rearrange itself to match your new inner condition. This requires a new kind of discipline, a refusal to be moved by what is. It means walking through life with calm indifference toward appearances and unwavering faith in your vision. If your current world tells you you're not successful, you must reply with silence and a stronger internal affirmation. I am successful, I am wealthy, I am powerful. And then remain there. The outer world may test you. It may present temporary opposition. Bills may come. People may doubt you. Obstacles may rise. But these are not signs of failure. They are signs that the old story is dissolving. The key is to not give them energy. Don't talk about them, don't fear them, and don't identify with them. Speak only of the life you are choosing to create. You must be so saturated in your vision that the physical world loses its ability to shake you. Feel the wealth, live the wealth, speak the wealth, even if nothing around you supports it, especially when nothing supports it. That is where your power lives. Faith is not needed when everything looks perfect. Faith is required when nothing yet reflects your desire. You don't have to fight with your circumstances. Just stop feeding them. Shift your attention inward. Imagine the scene that would be true if you had what you want. Experience it fully in your mind. Do it so often that it becomes more real to you than your surroundings. And then rest in the knowing it is done. The world you see is not final. It is moldable, flexible, and obedient. But it does not change from effort alone. It changes when your consciousness changes. Ignore the noise. Ignore the delays. Ignore the doubt. Create a new inner reality, and the outer world will have no choice but to follow. It must reflect the thoughts you persist in, always. Repetition is not just a practice, it is a principle. It is the mechanism through which belief is born and reality is transformed. Most people underestimate the power of repeating the same thought, the same image, the same feeling. They imagine once is enough. But the mind does not accept change through casual exposure. It accepts change through immersion. What you impress repeatedly becomes the dominant vibration of your being, and what dominates your inner world must take shape in the outer. You cannot think a wealthy thought once and expect a wealthy life. The subconscious mind, which governs 95% of your behavior and attraction, must be reprogrammed through consistent and intentional repetition. That is how old patterns dissolve and new identities are born. You are not trying to convince the world. You are training yourself. You are building a new self-concept, one that matches the life you want to live. Begin each day with the image of your fulfilled self. See yourself already rich. Hear the sounds of success. Feel the freedom of abundance. Do this when you wake, before the day rushes in. Do it again in the quiet of the afternoon, when the noise tries to distract you. And do it once more at night, before you sleep, when the subconscious is most open to suggestion. Morning, noon, and night. Repeat the vision. It does not matter how things look right now. What matters is what you consistently focus on. Reality does not emerge from what you observe. It emerges from what you repeat. And repetition is what hardens imagination into fact. It molds the unseen into the seen. The world cannot resist the mind that is saturated with a single dominant truth. If you want to be wealthy, make that image your obsession. Let it become your default. Let it be the thought that rises when your mind is idle. Speak it, write it, visualize it, feel it, over and over until your entire being accepts it as normal. When that happens, there is no need to force results. The outer world will be compelled to mirror your inner state. This is not effort in the physical sense. It is effort in focus. And that focus must be fierce, unwavering, and consistent. The moment you stop repeating the new image, the old patterns will try to return. That is why many people fail. They touch the new idea once or twice and wonder why nothing changed. But the law is clear. What you repeat, you become. Make repetition your ritual. Use reminders, affirmations, vision boards, and mental rehearsals. Keep returning to the same image until your emotional response to it becomes natural. Once it feels like the truth, even if nothing has changed around you, that's when the shift begins. You do not need more information, you need reinforcement. You need to decide who you are and then repeat that identity until it takes root. Let repetition be your discipline, your devotion. Through it, you will overwrite limitation with freedom. You will replace doubt with knowing. And ultimately, you will take what was once only a vision and live it as reality. Gratitude is the final seal of belief. It is not a polite gesture to the universe. It is a declaration that the desire has already arrived. Most people give thanks for what they receive after it shows up. But that is gratitude as a reaction. True power lies in gratitude as creation. When you give thanks before the evidence appears, you tell your subconscious mind it is already done. And once the subconscious accepts something is done, the world must follow. Gratitude is not only a feeling, it is a frequency. It is the vibration of having, not wanting, of possession, not pursuit. When you express gratitude for money you have not yet seen, you are not lying to yourself. You are aligning with the invisible truth that it already exists in the unseen. And because your reality is created from the unseen, this alignment is what brings it into form. So many unknowingly delay their blessings because they wait for signs to give thanks. They say, when I see it, I'll believe it. When it happens, I'll feel grateful. But that is not the way of creation. Creation begins with the inner state. Gratitude shifts your state from waiting to receiving. It closes the gap between the present moment and the fulfilled desire. It is the spiritual signature of the millionaire you already are. Wake up each morning and give thanks for the wealth that is yours. Don't look for it, know it. Say, thank you for the abundance flowing into my life. Thank you for the financial freedom I enjoy. Thank you for the opportunities that find me daily. Even if your physical world shows none of it yet, express thanks as if it were normal, as if you've lived it for years. This is the language of someone who has already received. Your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what is real and what is vividly imagined. When you add gratitude to your visualization, you accelerate the embodiment of your desire. It's no longer just a dream, it becomes a memory, a truth, a fact your mind and body accept. And once it's accepted, inwardly the outer must reflect it. That is law. Life mirrors the inner man. The one who is grateful is the one who has, and the one who has gets more. This is why gratitude multiplies what you focus on. It is not just appreciation, it is permission. It opens the gates to receive more because you are no longer in resistance. You're no longer trying, you are trusting. Gratitude makes you magnetic. It places you in the frequency of already having, which draws to you the people, ideas, and resources that match that state. It softens your energy and clears the path. It ends the search because it affirms, I've already found it. Use gratitude as a daily practice. Let it be your anchor when doubt creeps in. Speak it, write it, feel it. Make it the dominant emotion you carry, not just for what you have seen, but for what is already yours in the invisible. Because the moment you feel thankful for your desire without needing to see it, you prove to life that you are ready, and life always delivers to the ready. Becoming a millionaire is not about chasing money. It's about becoming the version of you who already possesses it. It starts within, with the conscious decision to assume the state of wealth, to speak only abundance, to live as though the end is already here, and to ignore the distractions of the physical world. Repetition then hardens that inner vision into belief, and gratitude becomes the confirmation that what you've claimed is already yours. When you master these inner laws, when you shift from hoping to knowing, from seeking to being, the world cannot help but mirror your truth. You don't become a millionaire by force or luck. You become one by identity. Choose that identity now. Persist in it, feel it, live it, and let life catch up to the new version of you that you've already decided to become. Sincere thanks. Thank you for allowing this message to speak to the deeper truth within you. May you no longer wait, no longer chase, but rise each day in the knowing that your wealth is already here and it's waiting for you to claim it. Dear Stu, you've been looking out there in the world of numbers, tickets, dates, and odds. But the true lottery, the real jackpot, is not outside of you, It is within. It always has been. Your world is a mirror, and what shows up in that mirror is not determined by effort or hustle. It is determined by stillness. Stillness, not stagnation. Quiet, not indifference. You must quiet the mind, for only in silence does the signal come through. Close your eyes, not to escape but to see more clearly. What do you see when you're no longer reacting to the world? What do you see when you're not chasing but allowing? You must begin where all things begin. In imagination. Imagine that moment. You hold the winning ticket. Hear the announcer's voice. Feel the shock that melts into joy. Picture the numbers matched. Hear the applause in your own mind. Let the image become alive, not as a hope, but as your new memory. The mind must be quiet to hear the voice of certainty, and the jackpot only answers the voice of certainty. Stop checking the clock, stop calculating the odds. That is noise. Noise keeps you poor. Stillness makes you rich. Because the jackpot, the millions, the answered desire doesn't come because you need it. It comes because you know it. In the quiet, feel yourself already possessing it, already living it, already free. The noise of the world says it's impossible, but the silence of the soul says it is done. Let go of doubt, for it is nothing more than noise. Let go of begging, chasing, proving. Sit, breathe, see it, feel it, accept it. The jackpot is not out there waiting to be found. It is here waiting to be received, not by struggle, but by surrender, not by fear, but by faith. Return to the silence, return to the image, return to the feeling of having it, again and again, until it becomes so natural that anything else feels unnatural. And when your inner world is rich, your outer world has no choice but to match it. Quiet your mind, and the jackpot will manifest. It already has. Imagination is the secret place of creation. It is the sacred chamber within your consciousness where all things are born. You do not need tools, effort, or evidence to build your dream. You only need the clarity of vision and the stillness of mind. For it is in this inner sanctuary, in the silence of thought, that your future is designed. Whatever you vividly see in your imagination, especially when your body is at rest and your senses are turned inward, becomes what you eventually touch in the physical world. You are not here to observe life as it happens to you. You are here to imagine and command it into being. Most people wait for signs before they believe, but those who understand the law of consciousness know this: belief creates the sign. It is not the world that gives shape to your imagination. It is your imagination that molds the world. Think of your mind as a projector, and the world as your screen. The reel of your life is created in imagination, and whatever is accepted there, repeatedly and vividly, plays out in time on the stage of your life. You may not see it immediately, because just as seeds take time to break through the soil, so too does your imagination take time to express in form. But just because it is invisible in this moment does not mean it is not real. It is not. In fact, the unseen is more real than the seen. The chair you sit on was once a concept. The home you live in, the clothes you wear, the technology you use, all of it came from the invisible realm of thought. Someone saw it before the world ever touched it. That is your power. But this vision does not arise in a noisy mind. It is in stillness that the blueprint appears. When you quiet the outer chatter, the opinions, the fears, the doubts. You create space for the divine idea to emerge. In that silence, you begin to see your desired reality as if it already exists. You walk through the home you want to own. You feel the texture of the fabric you wish to wear. You hear the sounds of celebration from a dream already fulfilled. In that moment, you are not imagining for the sake of entertainment. You are creating a mold, a spiritual form into which life will pour itself. This is why repeated inner vision is so vital. You must not merely see it once and forget it. You must return to it, dwell in it, feel it, breathe it, until it becomes more natural than the world around you. When your inner experience becomes more dominant than your outer experience, you shift timelines. The external begins to bend to the image within. And when you persist in this act of inner seeing, not with force, but with faithful ease, the vision solidifies. The invisible becomes visible. The imagined becomes real. You do not chase, you do not strive. You simply know, and in knowing you receive. What you vividly see in stillness, you will eventually touch, because imagination is not fantasy, it is creation. Quiet your mind, hold the image, and let life reflect what you have already claimed in the secret place within. Stillness is the signal. It is not in the loud declarations, frantic actions, or desperate efforts that life delivers its greatest treasures. It is in the silence, the calm within, where everything begins to shift. The jackpot, whether it be in wealth, love, health, or success, does not respond to noise. It does not come to the anxious, to the hurried, or to the doubting. It comes when the inner storm is calmed and the waters of the mind are still. You may have spent years trying, doing, forcing. You may have repeated affirmations with gritted teeth, visualized while worrying, or tried to control outcomes by will alone. But all of that is noise, and noise scrambles the signal. Just like a radio can't receive a clear frequency while surrounded by static, your mind cannot receive the full power of creation when it's filled with fear, overthinking, or urgency. Stillness is not laziness. It is not giving up. Stillness is a higher form of trust. It is the moment when you lean back from effort and lean into knowing. You release the grasp, not because you don't care, but because you know that what you desire is already making its way to you. You silence your doubts not by suppressing them, but by replacing them with quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't need to shout because it already knows it has won. The jackpot doesn't appear when you chase it. It appears when you align with it. And that alignment is impossible to achieve when your mind is spinning with how, when, and what if. That mental noise is resistance. And resistance pushes things away. But in the stillness, when your breathing slows and your thoughts soften, you become receptive. You become magnetic. In that sacred quiet, you allow the image of your desired life to rise. You don't force it, you allow it. And in that moment, you feel it, not as a wish, but as a knowing. You become one with the reality you seek. You see yourself holding the winning ticket, smiling in gratitude, standing in awe, already receiving. There is no noise here, no trying. There is only being. Stillness sends the clearest signal to the universe. I already have it. It is the opposite of begging. It is the opposite of hoping. It is the vibration of completion. And when you vibrate as one who has already received, life rearranges itself to make that your reality. When you are calm, you are powerful. When you are still, you are tuned in. The voice of fear becomes faint. The voice of intuition becomes loud. The path becomes obvious, not because you chased it, but because you stopped and listened. The jackpot has always been near. It's not waiting for you to run toward it. It's waiting for you to become still enough to see it, to feel it, to match its frequency. You don't manifest in the noise. You manifest in the silence. And from that silence, miracles arise, not because you forced them, but because you allowed them. Stillness is the signal, and once you tune in, the jackpot will find you. Your inner movie writes your outer script. Life does not unfold randomly. It unfolds according to the images you replay within yourself, whether you are aware of them or not. The world is not happening to you, it is echoing you. Every experience, every result, every encounter is shaped by the script running silently in your imagination. If you want to change your life, you must change the film playing within. Your mind is like a projector, and your world is the screen. Whatever scene you play repeatedly in the theater of your mind becomes the story the world begins to tell. The clearer and more vivid that inner movie is, the faster it hardens into physical reality. This is not a metaphor, it is a law. What you accept as true inwardly, what you feel and see consistently with belief, must express outwardly, sometimes in the most unexpected way. Most people live reactively. They allow circumstances to write their inner script. They replay scenes of lack, rejection, fear, and disappointment. And because that is the movie they watch on loop, their life mirrors it faithfully. They don't realize they are the director. They don't realize they can rewrite the story at any time. But you can. You must. Begin by sitting in stillness and choosing the new scene. If you desire wealth, don't just think about it, see it, not from a distance, but from within. Feel yourself inside the moment. Your name called as the winner, your hand holding the check, your heart bursting with calm joy. Don't just imagine the event, imagine your reaction to it. The smile, the laughter, the sigh of relief, the quiet gratitude. This is how you write a new script. Not by forcing change in the outer world, but by authoring it within first. You must become emotionally involved with your scene, not to wish for it, but to own it. When you watch a powerful movie, it stirs emotion. You cry, you cheer, you hold your breath. Why? Because the story feels real. That is how your inner movie must feel. It must be more compelling than your current reality. And when it is, your subconscious accepts it as truth. That acceptance is the turning point. Once the subconscious accepts a scene as real, it begins to draw life toward it. People show up. Circumstances shift. Ideas flow. Coincidences multiply. You are not forcing it. You are allowing it. And you allow it by remaining loyal to your inner vision, no matter what the outer world says. If you wake up and circumstances seem unchanged, do not edit your movie to match what you see. Hold to the original scene. Revisit it in your imagination. Strengthen it. Sharpen the details. Reignite the emotion. The clearer your imagined scene, the faster life conforms to it. Just as an actor rehearses until the lines become natural, you must rehearse your desired life until it feels like memory. Eventually, the world catches up. Reality becomes the reflection of the scene you once saw in silence. And you'll know, this was no accident. This was authored by you. Your inner movie is always writing your outer script. The only question is, what are you playing inside? Choose the scene, feel it fully, and let life follow your direction. Emotion seals the vision. It is not enough to simply see your desire in imagination. You must feel it. You must bring the scene to life with emotion, because feeling is what impresses the image onto your subconscious mind. Without emotion, your vision is like ink on water. It fades. But when you attach true feeling to your inner movie, it becomes etched into the fabric of your being. It becomes real before it becomes visible. Your mind may try to reason, to doubt, to analyze. But emotion speaks the language of the unseen. It bypasses logic and speaks directly to creation. That's why you must quiet the mental chatter. The mind will always ask, how will it happen? When will it come? What if it doesn't work? These questions are noise, and noise weakens the signal. You don't need answers, you need alignment. And alignment comes from feeling. To manifest the win, you must feel the win. Not someday, not later, now. In the silence of your inner world, close your eyes and step into the moment, as if it were already yours. Don't just watch it from the outside, be in it. Breathe in the emotion of fulfillment. Let your body respond. Let your heart race. Let your eyes tear up with joy. The more real it feels to you internally, the faster the external world will bow to that emotion. Emotion is the bridge between thought and reality. It is the fuel that gives life to your vision. A cold image won't move anything, but a vision warmed by the fire of emotion becomes magnetic. It draws to you what you are ready to receive, not because you are forcing it, but because you have already become it. Trust plays a powerful role here. You must trust that what you feel is not fantasy, it is truth being born. You must trust that if the vision came to you, it's because you are ready to live it. The moment you let go of doubt and simply feel the win is done, the universe begins rearranging itself. It may not happen in the way you expect. It may not come on your schedule, but it will come because emotion is a command, not a request. This is why repetition is so important. Each time you return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you strengthen the belief. You solidify the image. You mold the unseen into shape. And the more familiar this feeling becomes, the more natural it feels. Eventually, it no longer feels like something you're trying to attract. It feels like something you already are. That's when the shift happens. Emotion tells the universe you are ready, not someday, but now. Emotion is not weakness, it is creative power. It is the force that brings the invisible into form. Quiet your mind, silence the noise and go within. Feel the success, feel the freedom, feel the celebration, not as a hope, but as a memory. And when you do, let it go. Rest in the knowing that it is already done. You seal the vision with feeling, and now nothing can stop it. What is felt deeply and consistently must manifest, because emotion is not a reaction, it is the birth of your new reality. Persistence in silence is power. The world teaches you to hustle, to push, to speak loudly about your dreams, but creation doesn't answer noise. It answers stillness. In silence, you connect with the truth of your desire, not from a place of need or desperation, but from calm and quiet knowing. When you hold your vision with steady, detached belief, even in the absence of evidence, you summon forces far greater than action alone could ever produce. Most people waver. They see a delay and they let go of their vision. They hear a no and they rewrite their inner story. But true power lies in remaining loyal to what you have imagined, especially when there is no reason to, especially when the outside world appears unchanged. This is not blind optimism. This is faith in action. It is the quiet conviction that what you have seen and felt within must eventually express itself without. Repetition is the key. Not frantic repetition, not pleading, but calm, consistent revisiting of the fulfilled desire. Each time you return to the image of the wish fulfilled, you are reinforcing the signal. You are laying another brick in the unseen structure. You may not see the change immediately, but it is building. Every moment you persist with belief, you move mountains unseen. Detachment is crucial. This doesn't mean indifference, it means confidence. It means knowing that because you have planted the seed, the harvest is inevitable. You don't dig up the seed every day to see if it's growing. You water it. You nurture it with quiet faith. And you wait, not in anxiety, but in expectancy. When you persist with detachment, you are not begging for your desire, you are embodying the person who already owns it. Silence is your strength. You don't need to convince others, you don't need to prove anything. The vision is yours alone, and that is enough. The world may be loud with opinions, distractions, and doubt, but your power grows in the silence where you see clearly. It is there, in the stillness, that your inner voice becomes stronger than the noise outside. And that voice whispers, "It is done." You don't need dramatic affirmations or rituals. You need persistence in belief. You need to carry the feeling of your fulfilled desire like a quiet secret. Smile to yourself, knowing that while others are reacting to what is, you are creating what will be. The unseen is becoming seen, not because you shouted, but because you persisted. Even when nothing seems to change, stay loyal to your vision. That is the test. And that is where most give up, right before the shift, but not you. You will persist. You will return again and again to the inner scene, calmly, faithfully, as though you are brushing your teeth. Normal, natural, expected, because this is who you are now, the one who knows. And eventually the world will catch up to your quiet determination. The form will appear, the opportunity will knock, the numbers will align, and when they do, you will not be surprised. You will remember that you created this in silence long before it arrived. Persistence in silence is power. Quiet belief held long enough becomes reality. What you accept inwardly, you attract outwardly. The world you live in is not a random series of events. It is a mirror, a perfect reflection of your inner assumptions. Not your wishes, not your desperate efforts, but your deep, quiet beliefs about what is true for you. If you see yourself as lucky, favored, and prosperous within, life will arrange itself to match that image. The jackpot, the success, the breakthrough, these do not come in response to strain or struggle. They come to those who are inwardly aligned with already having it. Now, this alignment is not loud, it is not emotional begging, it is a quiet, unshakable knowing, it's already mine. You may not yet see it, but if you've accepted it in your inner world, if you've walked through the scene, felt it, believed it, then it's on its way. By law. Everything you accept in consciousness becomes a seed. And every seed must bring forth fruit. Effort alone does not move the needle. How many people do you know who work hard and still feel stuck? They labor from morning to night, but their inner dialogue is one of lack, fear, and doubt. So they attract struggle, not because they're undeserving, but because they haven't changed their inner acceptance. They're acting in the world, but inwardly they still see themselves as behind, unlucky, or poor. And the mirror reflects that image right back. But when you shift within, when you say, "I am abundant now," and actually accept it, not just say it, but feel it, you shift timelines. You begin to vibrate at the level of the life you desire. And life responds not to your effort, but to your frequency. Not to your hustle, but to your internal alignment. This is why stillness is more powerful than striving. In stillness, you create space to realign with what you truly want. You drop the desperate energy, you stop chasing, you start allowing, and in that state, you begin to attract without force. The jackpot doesn't answer to panic. It answers to peace. Think of your mind as a magnet. You can only draw in what matches your dominant belief. If you're trying to manifest wealth while constantly thinking of bills and debt, the magnet is misaligned. But if you shift your focus, see yourself wealthy, walk as if it's already true, speak as though it's already yours, and accept that wealth is your new identity, life has no choice but to mirror that back to you. This is not magic, it's law. the law that says your world will always match your inner acceptance. If you want to attract something new, you must first accept it as already done, internally, completely, without needing proof. And that's the key. Don't wait to see it before you believe it. Believe it and you will surely see it. The jackpot comes to the one who knows it's already theirs, not because of luck, not because of chance, but because they accepted it deeply and consistently, until the outer world had to reflect what was already true within. What you accept inwardly, you attract outwardly. So align your mind, feel it as done, and watch the world shift to meet your vision. In silence you create, in imagination you design, and through feeling you bring it all to life. The jackpot you seek, whether it be money, peace, love, or freedom, does not respond to noise, fear, or effort. It responds to quiet belief, to inner vision, to emotional certainty. You are not here to chase reality. You are here to command it by aligning your thoughts, emotions, and assumptions with the version of life you desire most. See it clearly. Feel it deeply. Persist in stillness. Accept it inwardly, and life will reflect it outwardly without fail. The real work is inner alignment, and once that is done, the rest flows effortlessly. Thank you for allowing this message to guide your awareness back to your true power. Now go within and claim what's already yours.